Here in Philadelphia, of course, we saw the Eagles pull it out in the final seconds over the Giants, 17-14. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Jim Brown, and on the field, Ron Jaworski's down there with Wilbert Montgomery, who had a tremendous day. Jim Brown, I know you want to talk to these fellas.
Yes, first to Wilbert. Wilbert, why haven't you played more this year? I thought you had a great game today. Where have you been? What's been wrong?
Well, the reason I hadn't been playing much is because that I've been in a learning period. I've been learning the system more, and so...
You're on a party line, Wilbert. Go right ahead. Don't let it bother you.
Well, the reason I hadn't been playing more is because I've been learning the system, and now I think I had picked it up, so they sort of spot playing me a lot, trying to get me better off into the team, get used to playing in the professional ball.
Well, I think you've learned the system, Wilbert. Believe me, you look really good out there today.
Thank you, Jim.
Ron Jaworski, tell me about that last play. Tell me about that rollout.
Well, there's not much to say. It was a play we had called on the sideline. Originally, Harold lined up in the wrong formation. I had to signal him over to the right side, and we ran a couple leads in there, and they did a good job of defending him and holding us there. And our spotters in the booth noticed that the contain was coming inside, trying to stop the inside play, and they just said, "Ron, put it on the hip and try to take it in." So I was fortunate enough not to fall out here on the icy field and get it in.
Ron, the coaches actually called that play. Is that true?
Exactly. They called it, right.
I see. And you agreed with it wholeheartedly?
No question about it. I figured I could get it in.
Because I tell you, you fooled me.
I think we fooled the Giants a little bit, too.
Yes, you did.
Speaking of keeping your feet, how was the playing field today? Was it tough? Was balance that tough on the
as the game wore on, it got pretty slippery and a little bit of ice on it, but the bad thing was the shaded part was pretty bad. Where the sun was on it, it wasn't too bad, but as the game wore on, it got worse.
You didn't throw too many times today, Ron. Was that in the game plan, or did that just develop during the game?
It pretty much developed during the game. We had anticipated to throw a little more, but the conditions out here weren't exactly the greatest for throwing the ball. It was, like I said, a little bit slippery. It was a pretty stiff wind going down the field in one direction, a pretty good wind coming the other way. But the game was so tight, you know, one mistake could have cost us here or there, so we decided to kind of play it close to the belt and hopefully our defense could hold them, and they did do that.
And they say you're happy in Philadelphia. Is that true? Because L.A. Always thinks about that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, Jim, you know, there's one thing I always wanted to do, and that was a start in the NFL consistently, and Philadelphia has given me the opportunity to do that, and I'm grateful to the management here and to Coach Vermeil for giving me that opportunity. And this team has lost a lot of close ball games like we won here today, and we finally got it turned around, and hopefully today is a turning point of the Eagles.
Wilbert, tell me how it felt to return the kickoff 99 yards. I know how it looked up here. How did it feel down there?
It feel great, you know. It's just one of those things.
They say you have 4.4 speed in the 40. Is that true, Wilbert?
Well, I don't know. I think so.
Is there anyone on the Eagles team that can outrun you? Because I'm always interested in speed.
No, I don't think so.
All right, big fella.
What about next week's game, Ron Jaworski? Can the Eagles beat the Jets?
Well, they're a good football team. They're kind of in a transition period like we are. You know, they're rebuilding their team, and they've been playing pretty good football. I haven't seen much film on them up until this point, but I'll look at a lot this week. But I know Walt Michaels has done a pretty good job there. They've beaten a good New England team, so it's like every other week. You got to screw the helmet on and get ready to play.
That's exactly what you have to do. Ron Jaworski and Wilbert Montgomery, thank you very much. Final score here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia was the Philadelphia Eagles 17, the Giants 14. Well, Jim Brown, while the whole country is concerned with teams getting into playoffs and playoff bursts, and rightly they should be, we knew coming in that neither one of these teams was headed for the playoffs, but what we got was a tremendous football game.
Yes, I think both teams, of course, to use the cliche, have great pride, but both teams know that they have a good future. And I think they wanted to prove today that they could have a good team coming in the next season. I think both teams did prove that.
Well, there's no question about the fact it's a disappointment for the Giants because they thought they had it put away.
Well, yes, that's very, very true. But in a game like this against Philadelphia, they shouldn't feel too disappointed because maybe they would get a little better schedule if they finish with 500. But really, it's not going to be the schedule that's going to do it next year. It's going to be if they can get that offensive line strengthened up a little bit and fill in a few spots, they're going to be a good football team.
Well, an exciting football team. Last week, of course, a big win and a close ball game here this afternoon. Now, we got a lot of football coming up on CBS next weekend. all sorts of big games, and one of them is going to involve the Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Redskins. You get a chance to watch the Rams a great deal. Tell me about the Rams.
Well, the Rams right now are very, very hot. I predicted that they would beat Oakland coming off that great win in Cleveland Stadium when they beat Cleveland there. Their defense has come together. Kyle Rosenblum have changed his mind about a lot of things. He put Jack Reynolds back in the middle where he belongs. Jack Reynolds is called Hacksaw. He's one of the greatest hitters in the National Football League. He inspired the other players. The defense felt they had their team back, and the Rams is represented by strong defense. They're going to be tough.
Fans have pretty strong opinions out there about the Rams, don't you, the fans?
Oh, yes, you're out in Hollywood out there. I mean, you know how Hollywood is.
Well, not exactly. I'd like to find out sometime. Jim Brown, a final question I want to ask you. How do you like football announcing?
Well, Lindsay, I tell you, I like you. I like a lot of the producers with CBS. I haven't met the big boys yet. Maybe I get a chance to meet them. They don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything. It's been a lot of fun for me. I can call upon my philosophy. No one has told me what to do. So I've had a great time. The fans have reacted fantastically. I hope the fans in New York like what we did today. If that happens, I am satisfied.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you around because it's great to have you on the football scene, and I know going around the stadiums, as you and I did in Milwaukee and here again this afternoon, you meet a lot of old friends, and they're all glad to see you.
Yes, I do.
So the final score here this afternoon was the Philadelphia Eagles 17, the Giants 14, and they scored the winning touchdown in the final seconds of play here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.